Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Average Superstar TV. I am your host, Lauren Lepre. I'd like to thank you for taking this time to check out this podcast. You know, that special time of the podcast where I say, hey, please hit the subscribe button on YouTube and Spotify and iHeartRadio. All comments on YouTube are always answered. And we are back this week. I turned my focus back into the film world. We got two West Coasters here. We're going to be going over their worlds here. We got the great Nicole Vegas, who I've been keeping an eye on for the first time truly meeting her, but she's been heavily active forever. And a new guy in town, Jon. How we doing from Trash Man Productions?
How you doing?
Awesome. So you two have already got you're already out of the gate. You have movies such as Desert Fiend, Skate to Hell, Alien Horde, Clown Hotel 3. Between the two of you, you're all over the place. So I guess let me break this down here. I'll start with Nicole because you've been around a little longer. What made you even want to get in acting?
4 years ago, I liked doing community service. Somebody connected me to Julie Goldman, and I signed up for a background on a TV series called The Cleaning Lady Pilot. They liked me. They bought me, gave me my first half. Hardly had no idea what anything they were saying. So acting classes help, they're like go to Mark 2, go to 3, reset, pantomime, or your whole. It was a long day, 12 hours. I didn't realize how much work it was. I never thought I'd go into showbiz, but it seemed to open up a lot of doors, a lot of opportunities, and get to meet really great people that are like-minded that want to put that hard work in. So, yeah.
Awesome. And we're going to get to that key word a little later about hard working. So, Jon, tell us your story. What made you want to jump into this world?
Where do I start? She's heard this story many, many times. I'll try to make it short, but I retired from General Motors last June. I was a tool and die maker for 30 years in Flint, Michigan, and bought this place in Pahrump in 2020, fixed it up before I could retire. So when I got out here, it's a long process to like switch vehicles over to Nevada. So I was in the middle of doing that. What's that?
That's good to know. Making notes.
Yeah, you got to get VIN checks and stuff. You can print the stuff online. It's just you got to go through the process. But in the middle of doing that, the DMV burnt down out here in Pahrump. So I got all my stuff together and drove to Tonopah to finish the paperwork on my stuff. So when I got back here, my feed was just full of stuff in Tonopah. So Clown Motel 3 came up, and there was a scene you could buy on Indiegogo with Jenna Jameson. And I clicked on it because I thought it would be fun. But then I noticed a military role for a little bit more that had a death scene and lines and a few other things. So I was like, you know what? My sister kind of dared me to do it at the time. And I'm like, if I'm terrible at it, who cares? It's like I got nothing to lose. And so I bought the part, met Joe Kelly, met Joe Daly, Johnny Perotti, who's become a pretty good friend of me and Nicole, and went up there and just had a blast. And I was hooked. It was such a good time. So then I followed the production to Nelson's and helped them finish the movie, being part of the crew and the background. Myself and Jason Wallace kind of became close doing that. And then it just took off. I met Nicole in Tonopah. We kind of, for some weird reason, just kind of hit it off and became friends. That's all there was to it. And she's kind of mentored me and guided me through things like with the casting and what I should do and buying stuff for my computer to do podcast and putting myself out there. And the next thing you know, I'm in a Super Bowl commercial, and I was actually like on the TV for like 5 seconds, which was crazy.
That's awesome. And I think that's really great. You're with Nicole because, like I said, I've been keeping an eye on her for a while. I can tell you, because we'll break into this in a moment, but, being independent, I've been doing this 10 years. You can't be loud enough. And Nicole is constant posts, constant updates, constant lives, constantly pushing her films. And I just wish I had a sea of her around me, because I can't tell you how many actors I have brought into my films that I'm thankful they came in, they did their roles, but sometimes a lot of them are just, they're done. You know, here comes an article praising the film and their name's in it. And then like, I'm sending it to them like, yo, they're talking about, you know, like, cool, I'll have to post it. And like 2 hours later, you know, they're posting their food from TGI Fridays and they did not post. And I'll pay attention. You're just like, so a lot of them you say thank you, but I'm never working with you again. So I really try to align myself with the hungry. I just, you try. It's always a crapshoot when you do a movie. You don't know what's going to happen, but I wish I could just have a bunch of cloned Nicole's. I really do.
She works very hard, and there's so many people that have no idea what it takes to put something together. You're
right. And the simple amazing fact of first off, you're doing yourself an injustice if you're in a film and you're not marking it, because like why did you do the work if you're not going to market the film? I'd never understood that. But there's a lot of people that try to just claim glory about how great they are. They want to do conventions. They want to do this. They want to do that. But if you're not pushing the films you're in, how's anyone know where to find you or know your acting capabilities even? Like just take me at face value because I'm telling everyone I'm great. So sure, Nicole, you've probably dealt with a lot of, I call them just the duds. That's it. That's
name it, but no, I don't think people know how to market. They don't. Everybody has their own attributes to bring in, and maybe giving other people some insight, like, hey, I'm hiring. So they're just talent. They're just really there to do their job and be out. Usually have a publicist or PR, or you have somebody else marketing. But in a non-union, especially or micro SAGs, you need the whole team. I don't think people, the crew marketing it, the talent marketing it, your friends and family, it has to be everybody. And I've been trying to emphasize that enough. I mean, they're getting it now. The people I've talked to, but they share it one time. You have to share it all over. You have to talk about it. You have to be excited about it. How are you going to sell something if you're not even excited about it? You have to show the passion and the purpose. And, you know, when I met Jon Swango on the Clown Motel 3, what I liked about him, and I knew he'd be a great producer and working with me, is because he cares about people. You can't just say, I'm this, and the talk is empty. He's a doer. He shows up. He puts in the work. If he knows where to put it in. I mean, when you're new, it's not like there's a manual book and it's just going to show you. Oh, everybody climbs up that mountain differently. And Jon, I'd like him to share what he thought and what the work it does take to get something done, because we are starting this production in about a month. This Desert Fiends, a sequel. I mean, it's bigger than, you know, typical non-union films that are maybe 20 people. I mean, we have probably up to like 70 people, maybe plus on the set each day. It gets to be big.
It does get to be big because you're going to need a lot. That's a lot of mouths to feed. That's a lot of people to tell to be quiet on the set that just may not even understand, even though they're further away. It's still picking up, and there's only so much daylight. Like you don't know how long an actor is going to be there before they have to leave, especially if it's you know, the name. Maybe you only got them for so long. So yeah, Jon, your thoughts on that one?
Well, this one's especially going to be a little more difficult, I think, because where we're filming is actually a public place. We're going to have tents. We're going to try to keep it as closed as we can, but that adds another element of something that we have to try to keep contained. I think we've got a pretty good plan on where we're putting the crew and the talent, and where we're putting makeup, and then where we're putting the Indiegogo people. And she's been keeping up to date on the cast list and stuff like that. But it is a ton of work, and that's just the stuff that you can plan on. That doesn't even include surprises that might pop up. Somebody getting sick or a flat tire on something. It's just all the things you have to take into consideration and be prepared for, that just until you do it or until you've been involved, you have no idea. So I got lucky that the Clown Motel 3 guys let me help them finish that movie from behind the camera after my character got killed. So I learned a lot from them, even though it was a little chaotic, but I learned a lot. And then with Nicole's help, whenever she's asked, I've been there, and we did Days of the Dead together. I think we sold a lot of Indiegogos there, but that was a lot of work. But it's also so gratifying when you do it and you've done it right, and you know you've put everything into it, that feeling the next day when you wake up is great.
So let me pat you both on the back because and explain. You guys both just did the Days of the Dead convention in Vegas,
Yes.
which is a horror convention to go through. My big thing, and I'm complimenting you guys and saying to any other filmmaker, especially if it's a horror movie, it's so important to get a table, even if the movie's not out yet. Even just you're handing out flyers. You got to have something all set up. You got to get the fans hyped up to see your movie. That build your social media following. I mean, there's so much T-shirts, posters. I mean, there's little pamphlets, stickers, like all that matters. And that's kudos that you guys did that because now you already know you're putting a flag in the ground right there. And then Days of the Dead's across the country, and if not, there's other conventions that you could go do that. So I always tell filmmakers, like, I think conventions is the way to market if you're in the horror industry, So it's so important. So that's good that you guys did that. And you guys said you're shooting somewhere public. Is this like a crowded place or is it more of a secluded?
It could be both. It depends on the month and the time of day and everything. But like I said, it'll be a closed set. Now, if we do have a problem with somebody, I mean, they can go wherever they want to go. But if someone's trying to actually get in, I will talk to the owners and they'll trespass them because it is a misdemeanor NRS in the state of Nevada. They really want to go that route. But hopefully nobody does that. Don't make us make a video example of what not to do.
Yeah. That's the other reason I was asking because I didn't know how public. Like I didn't know if you were trying to do it outside, like in a public park, because that could get out because you can't tell people to leave. Reality, unless you actually paid. At least where I'm at in the Philly area, you could get the actual police officer, the permits and all that, where they could say like, "Yo, this is your spot. No one can go in."
I've gotten the permits for certain locations on Skates of Hell and Desert Fiends previously, but for this one, they're pretty cool. And they just want us to make sure that their business is they have it on our insurance. So you know how the process goes with, I know a lot of people want to be part of it and some people can't afford it because this is opportunity for a pay to play. Yes. And some people, they have a name that carries and people want to pay just to be part of it or work with them. So there's tons of auditions you can do and tons of other jobs, through like Backstage, I think, or Actors Access or your casting directors there, in your area. But I mean, this is how these films get made. These have to be funded. There's no other way to fully film it. Post-production, distribution, red carpet, it costs a lot of money. That distribution costs us about $14,000 for the EOAs and the new poster and the lawyers and all those fees for Guardhouse Ventures. So I want people to know, though, we didn't do any finishing funds. We made sure we budget it correctly the right way, but it gets pricey. It all adds up, as you know. You've hired people, and you know that. It just and if you're going to say you could do something, you better show you could do it. There's so many talkers, and we've been talk is so cheap in this show business now. I don't care what they say. They could try to sell me a glass of water if I was drunk. Not happening anymore. Because they do. They smoke and mirrors a lot of people, and then it ends up costing us because we believed in them or we were friends with them, close buddy, and it didn't work out. So you can
you're doing it right, and not to make the room more. Sound like the business could be any worse than it really is, but I always say, like, it's hard to have any friends here. It's next to none. But two, someone could be explaining I had never met, like, we could be at a convention, they could be telling me what they're doing. I could be looking them up in my phone while they're talking because I want to see the credentials that they're actually talking. And if, like, I pull your name up and I see like one thing, like, I might even say something, but like, well, according to this, everything you just said, you're not a part of, like, because there's so many people that I've seen wrong people get into movies and music of, like, they talk themselves up and someone bought it, and then there's a disaster. I've seen actresses that say they're in all these movies, really they're extras, and then when they actually get fed a line, they're like a deer in headlights. When they say action, you're like, oh my gosh, like, how did this person fall for this? But
I mean, Jack, how did you feel when you prepared for your first role with dialogue? When you had your first lines in your dialogue, how did you prepare for your role? I'm for somebody that was new and is freshly in his mind still, because you forget when years go by.
Right. Well, I do. I've told Nicole this before, but I've got a niece that actually went to the Ball State acting school and she's done some stuff on Second City. So when I got the script, I messaged her and I was like, how do you go about remembering your lines? And she's like, read them.
Yep.
Put it down, try to say them, read them, try to visualize. And then luckily at that time, my sister was living with me, so I could bounce things off of her. And I got a little extra role because of where I live with what they were doing. We're not going to go into that, but it just, and then once the scenes were rehearsed a couple times and everybody's got their timing, it came pretty easy. But just, you have to reread, speak them. You could write them down even to help you remember them. And the big thing
I could jump in on this and
throw go ahead.
advice for anyone. It was, we were all that. Nicole was too. But I always find it's not a bad idea to record yourself saying the lines and playing it in your car on an MP3 or a CD, like just like a movie, muscle memory. It's not a bad idea, obviously, to what you just said. To me, what you already just said. Read it, and I read it out loud, like myself, like back and forth. But one of the coolest things, if the director is someone who's accessible, I would call the director when I first started and be like, this is how I'm picturing the line being delivered at this part. Can I read this to you? And like, sometimes like, yo, dude, you're doing fine. Keep doing that. I got, you're right. And sometimes I've done that and they've been like, that's not how I want you to read it at all. I'm glad you called me.
Right.
So let me get you, this is how I'm picturing it. So then you could adjust, because when you're saying read it, if you think you're doing it right, you're just going to keep reading it that way. But if you have to be adjusted, it might throw your whole game off. So I'd rather try to get approval in advance if I could get to the director of like, I just have a couple questions in these parts. I just read how I'm going to, picturing doing it. So, because you got directors that are they don't care, like just deliver it, whatever. It's your character, bring it to life. You also got people like, no, this is how the character's got to be, So it's not. Yes, I mean, you don't know what you're getting, so I'd rather talk to the director in advance if I can. There are some directors that are, the AD and the cast, they're the ones they're talking to. You're not going to get a chance to talk to the director. So,
right. Well, and for example, today a couple of people were asking some questions, and we're still campaigning, even though it's not up on the main page. So Sean doesn't have the script done yet, and if somebody else comes in with a big part, it might completely change one scene. So in the Indiegogo world, you just got to take it as it comes. And if things are changed at the last minute, then everybody's just got to make adjustments. But I don't think we're going to have any problem with Sean or Ethan on anybody's performance as long as they're ready.
I'm going to hit some notes on all this stuff right now.
Go for it.
When you do have those lines, or you have your character development, or you're building your character history, maybe it's not given to you, I really do advise you to go to some acting coaches to help build that, to know the wants and whys and all that, to break it down, the character arc. And then when you do get your sides or your script, depending on what they decide to give you, I would advise doing table reads, and you'll be able to tell because they'll be listed on the IMDb. You'll see Sharon is actually Rachel Walters or whoever. Now for these ones, Sean's scripts will probably be done like about 2 weeks out. Same with the wardrobe. He was, a lot of people were wanting to know, it's like 2 to 2.5 weeks. He'll be sending something where people have to get it. But it really is up to you to understand, and also not just be like, not in your own moment. You also have to react to the other talents that are in the scenes with you. So you can't just be not reacting to what they're doing. Like I was on this other set, and sometimes they redo it, reset, and the energy level drops. And I hate if someone doesn't tell me, and then you're just flat, and then that's it. So it's good to look out for each other and say, no, you're dropping right now, pick that back up. Or you should be reacting. That guy just hitting on your girlfriend in this scene. You should be pissed. Like, what the hell? You shouldn't just be like, and just deliver it like this. They want you really have.
You're acting. You're acting.
I get caught acting though. I get caught acting sometimes. They're like, that's how you're acting. Yeah, don't get caught acting. I'm told. So yeah. There's a lot to learn. Each area, there's always something. As a producer, You will on a non-union or micro budget, say SAG, you will wear many hats. So it's pretty much everything. Whatever area is slacking, you are it. PA, wardrobe, grip assistant, transportation, crafty, whatever it is, just know you will be it.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
There's no job too small.
So there's one film in here I got to ask you both about that you were both a part of. So I drive cross country a lot, and I was coming from Reno, the Vegas, the Tombstone, and along the way of coming down, as I always wanted to drive the desert like I was crazy. I was 5 hours off the grid coming down, but I crashed into the Clown Motel. So you guys have the Clown Motel Part 3, but I immediately pulled over there because I've seen it. It's always, it was always featured on like roadside attractions and all that. But I knew this might have been when the first film was done. But I was going to ask you guys about that. But I have, before I do that, tell you I think about 2 hours up the road was Death Valley, and when I was at a gas station, I met a wild donkey, and I was feeding it. Yeah. I thought it was the coolest thing. I have the video on there. But I'm feeding a donkey veggie sticks at a gas pump, and I sat there like 90 minutes because you're never going to get to do this again.
Well, we have donkeys and wild horses here in Pahrump just walking around.
Yeah. But just get backing up there. I just had to plug the donkey thing. It's on my page if everyone wants to watch it. A donkey at a gas station. You put that in, you can watch it. But tell us about the Clown Motel, and like, I guess you guys all stayed there, right? Like while you were filming there, or you guys?
I driving? Did. She didn't.
Oh gosh. Yeah, tell us about that though, because it's quite a unique place. I mean, it was a smart idea to put something like that in the middle of the freaking desert after you kind of got off. Especially if you're coming from Reno. I don't think coming from Vegas it's that far, but.
Mm-hmm. You want to go first, Nicole?
Oh, God, you stayed there. It's all yours.
Well, first off, all the I think it started as like a little gimmick, and then I may be wrong, but it was sold to the new owners, and they have really blown it up and took the clown theme way over the top. Every room has a theme. There's scary clowns, there's funny clowns, there's Pennywise room. I stayed in the Clownvis room, which is all Elvis clowns. They've got a huge gift shop, and it's supposedly haunted because it's built right next to the original Tonopah Cemetery. And they have ghost tours like every night, and especially in the summertime. If you believe in ghosts, it's probably pretty cool. I slept just fine. But the best thing, and even though it was my first kind of deal with this, the cameraman, Cameron, Chris, Guthrie, they were like, this is really odd that you're actually sleeping and staying on your set, which made it real nice, because if you wanted to take a break, you could actually go in your room and things like that. And they're like, this usually never, it's never like this. And of course, then we went to the next location for Clown Motel. It wasn't like that at all. We all had to commute, but the Clown Motel is a very cool place. It's a very real place. And if you're in the mood for an adventure, I say book a room on a Friday or Saturday night, take the ghost tours, check out the cemetery. The sunsets are beautiful. The mountains around there are beautiful. It's a pretty cool place. Just remember that it is in a town. So it's not like it's this isolated thing in the desert. There's gas stations. There's the Mitzvah Hotel. There's some other places that do have ghost-related themes around them there also. So if you decide to go, you're not going to be stranded in the middle of nowhere. But it is a cool place, and I'm so glad I did what I did with that.
What was, when you were filming there, was it obviously it never closes, right? So you're filming during business hours, right?
Yeah, and there were guests there, but because we were all military with these big fake AK-47s, and there were 100 clowns and these Harley Quinn clowns, which she was one, and they would just come up and ask what you're doing, and it'd be like you're filming a movie, and there'd be like, and then it would be cool. It'd be like, oh, this is so cool, and like there was people that would actually like sit up on the balcony and watch us film, and things like that. So it was.
And
So you
probably
just worked
also realize how quick a film set could get boring too, right? Like they ain't doing nothing. It's been 40 minutes. Like I'm going.
I think it was actually not a boring set at all. Some sets can be boring, but there was so much fun with the soldiers, and the clowns were all dressed up, and people loved it. They were wanting to take pictures.
the kid clowns, all the little kid clowns.
Was it with it? So if it wasn't boring and there was a lot of people, what was it? Was it hard with the audio? Because it's kind of hard.
It was dusty out there. That's what was hard about it for me, anyway.
Okay.
It was very dusty.
Guthrie, I don't think ever complained too much about the audio. He seemed to have it under control. I mean, at night we had to like do some makeshift lighting for stuff and whatever, but no, as far as that went, it was all pretty good, I believe.
So how's it overall? I mean, I'm sure there's always the SAG part of it because it's, you know, one of the most happening cities in the United States. But like, how's independent in the Vegas area since that's where you two are around, at least, you know?
What was the question about the independent?
The question is, I understand SAG for TV shows and movies going on Vegas, but like you two are independent. So what's that scene like, the Nevada scene overall? Well,
it's a right to work state.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're SAG, you still have, it's a right to work state, just like Florida is. You can work SAG. They can bump you up too if you're not SAG. Like for the day, they can give you a Tab Harley or they can give you a SAG voucher. I mean, you never know. And then for non-unions, I mean, depends who's running it, how big the production is, where are they located? Are they doing it in the summer? Because summer sets are very hot. Mm-hmm. And then you still have to worry about, like, even in April, usually when we did Desert Fiends, it was like it hailed and we got flooded in this one location and windstorms. You can't predict Mother Nature, can you?
No.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on that?
About the same. Like that Caesars shoot, that was a union set, and I got a voucher, but I'm not SAG, and no one really talked about it or asked about it. It was just everybody was there kind of doing their thing. So I don't think if you stay in the state of Nevada, it's not that big a deal. But I will say on the commercial at the football field, the one guy that was playing the coach was worried that it wasn't a full SAG set and his name was on the list. And he was kind of worried if somebody saw that, if they would give him any grief when he got back to Los Angeles. I don't know the ins and outs of that. But as far as like Nevada and Las Vegas itself, no one is going to bother you.
Like, but if you're in California and you're SAG and you work a non-SAG set, it would have like, what's this with Brett Wagner? It's gonna be hammered.
Right.
It's you. That's all I know. I was forewarned. Yeah.
Gotcha. So I mean, but as far as the whole area there, is there a lot of independent going on? Is it kind of scarce, or do you think there's people there that could really, you know, maybe blow up from there? Or is there a lot of false messiahs? Like, I'm just kind of trying to get a gauge of the area.
I think everybody's doing their thing. Everybody's working hard and being creative or trying to get in. I don't like when people, though, know you're doing a set and they beg for it. I've never went into anybody like, can you please? I want to get in. Very unbecoming, but people, I guess that's a tactic, and people try to get in that way, or, you know, they're just, sometimes the role's not going to be for you. So people have to stop getting butt hurt, and it's not going to be, can't be in everything. That's impossible. You know?
You're right. You can't. I mean, there's been some where I've had some people that are close to me to go cast a movie, and I'd be a little like, dude. And then finally when it comes out, you're like, oh, it's for 5 people that are 20 years old. Okay. So I'm not okay. I get you. So sometimes you gotta relax, maybe ask a couple of questions or wait to make sure before your butt gets hurt, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we all have different looks. And now if there's somebody that looks like me, we're going for the same part. Now that's a little bit of because they're looking for a certain look, a certain criteria. But if not, you know, sometimes they already hired everybody. You can't. Whatever they did, you know, just like in our film right now, it's at that. You know, I don't know if we're going to hire another name or not. You know, we have enough people. We have a lot of people. And there'll be other opportunities. And if not, I've always connected people to other film sets. I might not be a part. I'm like, hey, this could work for you. I had somebody ask me, oh, I'm looking for some female, and they didn't say me. They said, can you help me find? And I gave a couple names, and they got on. It's with Mel Gibson, Boneyard. So the girl, Ruth, is like, how come you didn't do it? I go, they didn't ask me. They asked me to find somebody. I'm not going to be like, oh, me. That's for somebody else. So, you'll know when people look out for you or they don't, or if they think of you. If someone's like, hey, I'm looking for somebody that has, middle-aged, long hair or no hair. I'm like, actually, I know some people. I don't know. You can't be in every single one. So you still can be supportive, and you still can share and be a good sport. And if not, then when it's your time, and they're like, oh, I want you to share all this for me. I want you to market me. I was like, I've seen them not share anything about anybody. I'm not going to market people like that. They have to be a team player.
Damn right. So another one of the films you were involved with was Alien Horde.
Yes. I like that one.
Go. Feel free to explain. Let the audience know what this one's about.
Michael Horde. It has to do Alien Horde. It has Michael and Sonny Mahal. Brandon Slagle's the director. Is really cool. It was a great set. It was in LA. I don't like LA though. I don't like the traffic or any of it. Also, Jon Swango got a part 2. He got a samurai, and I was some bubblegum chewing. My name was Carly. I got a court martial because I did experiments on animals, and, like alien DNA. I was very fascinated about, and chewed gum a lot. So, I mean, on the first set, I had 2 people come up to me. I'm not going to drop the names. They're like, are you chewing gum in this scene? I'm like, yeah, probably every scene. And they're like, look at me. I was like, obviously you didn't read the script.
Yeah.
Carly is chewing gum, and she blows bubbles a lot. So more than I thought, because I had different types of gum, and I didn't know. He'd be like, blow bubble. I go, this is not the right gum for a bubble. Whatever. But yeah, read your script. I think all the crew should read the script so they know what they're shooting and do, and not be like, oh, just put the light here, just do that. Even the cinematographer. Read your script. Read the script a couple times and know the breakdowns and setups and the character role and development, because I think it's important. Right, John?
Absolutely.
How'd you like it? Different. It was different.
I had a real cool character name.
Yeah.
I don't know if my character name was Metal Hawk, and I was a samurai warrior fighter pilot. And I know it sounds crazy.
They were cool for that now.
Sounds cool.
But I had to wear this samurai gi, and it was a mess of a costume. But I did it. I got through it. I nailed my lines. I did everything they asked. But I learned a lot watching the Mahals work, how they do their sets, how they do their crafts, how they treat their people. Who they've got for like ADs. They had a nurse on staff. She's one of their people. She's been in a lot of their movies, but she's like a registered nurse. She was there for safety. It was a good learning experience for me from behind the camera also. And, but I also learned that if a part comes my way, or I think I'm interested in something, I've got to find out wardrobe and what their exact plans are before I decide to do it or not. It was just a real uncomfortable kind of a crazy thing. And I was there the same night Sean C. Phillips was there. So we talked and hung out for a little bit and discussed Desert Fiends 2 all night.
The wardrobe you had was uncomfortable?
It was uncomfortable, and it just wasn't me. It's like, I don't mind getting goofy or wearing something crazy, but I still have to feel a little bit like me. And not that I've earned it or deserved it or whatever. It's just, it's like,
let me jump on what you just said. No, because you brought up a good point, and that's why, unless it's this like a wardrobe that I know they got to have, like I'm going to go supply it. A lot of the times I tell my actors, this is what you need. Go get it, try it on, because I want you as comfortable as possible on the set. I don't want to buy it and be like, well, it said it was a medium. Oh, you can't get the buckle in, or your pants are falling down. Like I usually tell, I'll reimburse you. Just go out, you get the comfortable. Like maybe send me a few pictures before you get to the register to make sure that it's something I want to see and all that. But it's so important for an actor to be comfortable in wardrobe. It really is, because I've been handed stuff that I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, this is the tightest pants I've ever been in my life. And acting half the time is what? More 80% of the time you're sitting around in pants that are uncomfortable,
Sometimes it happens on other sets, but I got on something. John was supposed to be on something. He's glad he did. It was ice cold out there, and I'm supposed to be like some dealer. Remember that? Well, anyways, they didn't have that for me. They had something else, and they gave me this itty teeny white bikini thing. And I go, "Is there a cover with it?" And they gave me like this, like a size of a half. I was like, "What is this? This is not." There's 20-year-old girls. I need to be. So I did wear it for a second. I'm like, she goes, "Oh, I can tell you're." I said, "Yeah, can't I just be like a waiter or something? This is not for me." I didn't sign up for that stuff. Some people like their body. I'm older. I like fully covered things. So there's things that I won't ever sign up for. Never. Even if they try to throw it at me.
Right. And if you're not comfortable, and if you're not like a little bit that's you and you feel right in it, you're not going to do the part good either. It's like this thing at Caesars. I wore all my own clothes. They were like, we like that, we like that, we like that. Just wear that. And I nailed it because I was comfortable all night and I felt good and I felt like myself, which makes a huge difference. So, but I try to learn something from anything that I do. So,
oh boy, yeah. I mean, if they let you, because I had all my clothes, and then they switched me to something else later on for a different role, and I was like, I want grande. It was Espanol. I was like grande, and the one girl next to me was like, I want small. She wants piquito. Give her a small little dress. It's like some Roman thing, when you're dressed in that white. What's that? The toga thing.
oh
Yes.
I want everything. There's nothing. No sneaky peekies. This is yeah, no. And she's like, mine could be short. I go, yeah, you close that up here. Like, no sneaky peekies. I did not sign up for any of that stuff. So yeah, I don't need to wear that unless, I signed up ahead of time and I knew not to have me sign up for something and be like, here, we're actually going to give you the smallest thing ever. I'm like, you just sign. I'm like, shaking. I'm like, it's not for me, especially white. I don't know itty bikini white, no micro white dress. I'm just throwing it out there, so that I'll definitely say no to that stuff. Like, no, thank you. A nice way backing away. So yeah, now we discovered what we don't like.
Right.
Gotcha. Yeah. And another one you guys. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I would say another one of your films on the list here were Desert Fiend.
The first one? Oh, I was going to drink my tea. So the first one, so what happened with that one is less than 2 years in, Sean reached out to me, asked me to be part of this upcoming film. I said, if you come out to Vegas, I will help you out in every way possible. And he did it. And I laugh at him, like, how could you ever trust somebody that had less than 2 years in to be in charge of it all? Because I wouldn't. Like, I couldn't just hire somebody and then be like, I'm leaving it up to you to do all the locations, the crafty, the proper paperwork, getting the talent. It's a lot of work, but it turned out well. And, it's his first one he got for distribution. And there's a couple distributions that reached out to him, but for Gravitas, they said they were going to release it December 10th, and then that didn't happen. They changed it now to April 8th. A lot of little things happened in between, but I'm glad I had that. Is it DPF? It's like the box for the theater. Like, it was $700.
Yes.
So when I bought it, I took it to the theaters. The lady's like, "Oh, well, isn't it coming out on streaming? You have to spend all that money." Like 3 days before, I was like, "Oh my gosh, why are they having it 3 days before my red carpet?" Anyways, they changed it though. So imagine if I counted on them. They changed it where it wasn't going to stream and I didn't have anything, and the red carpet would have been. But I think it turned out really nice. And some of it was our first experience ever on the red carpet, and I really wanted to make it really, real special with interviews and Getty's images and a comfortable theater. I think when people are putting money in supporting a film, because you can put money in, it could never be finished. You don't know where it's really going. Where's the guarantee?
None.
There is none guarantee. So that's the thing. If you screw with people, you're eventually screwing yourself. And that's the bottom line on that. And you just got to show you can do it, though. But it takes time. It took doing it the right way. It took 2 years. The right way. That's a long time. It was a
That
very
sounds like a lot of holes. Well, it sounds like you fell in a lot of traps one way or another.
Well, it wasn't trapped. It was more Gravitas saying, because we turned everything in what we had. And then they're like, we don't want to rush it because I think Terrifier 3 was coming out too during that time. They want to eat. So there was other things. And they said, we don't want to rush it. And then they accidentally had to give it to Amazon. It wasn't, I don't think it was even the right copy. And they had it for like a day on Amazon. And I didn't realize. So I shared it like, oh, they must, and Sean's like, no, take it down. I didn't know. And so they did a lot of hiccups that way, like a lot of weird mistakes. We did everything on our end. But you have a lot of cooks in the kitchen. You could do everything on your end, right? Doesn't mean everybody else is going to do it on theirs. You got to make sure everybody's up to par, making sure things are done correctly. You're only one person. You can't do it all. You got to depend on other people. And hopefully all those moving parts can work together to get something done. And once you get it done, though, I'm like, it's showtime. Good. I'm excited. And now that we have an area of what we need to work on, some of the things that we didn't like, we're hoping to make the sequel a lot better, more clear editing, more gore, and really disgustingness. So if you don't like gore and disgusting, do not be part or look into Desert Fiends too, because if you don't have a strong stomach or you're too squeamish, just I'm giving a viewer discretion advice, even for adults.
I think it's smart. Yeah, absolutely.
Don't watch it.
Yep. Yeah, I totally get what you're saying too about how that took 2 years because I did my movie Pennsylvania Hardcore, I did Dark Military, and now I have Camera X, and I learned from the first 2 films. Like when someone's like, "When's it coming out?" I'd say I'd like to tell you this date, but I don't know once the distributor gets it of where they're going to feel it's the perfect time to drop it. So it's like, you don't want to say the words when's it coming out. Like, I don't know, but that's the real answer is you don't. Like, I'll let you know. I'll pass along that info as soon as that gets dropped. But I always let people know that what I just said here about like, once it gets to the distro company, when they think it should be released, I'd like to tell you before the end of the year. That's
right. I watched your trailer on that Camera X.
Yes.
And that's a great premise.
Thank you.
That looks like that could be a great drama, suspenseful movie. So yeah,
I'm hoping
I'll be looking for that.
Thank you much. It's been officially 1 month since the trailer's been dropped, so I just passed like 100,000 views between the YouTube and the Facebook trailer. So I've gotten death threats already. I've gotten some of the oddest direct messages. I've had some like yo, this happened to me, and like this is something I've always thought about, and it's a fantasy, looking forward to it, and I'm like, thank you. And I've also had people just like email me names and then delete their account, and I'm like, I think they're thinking like I'm giving somebody up to me. And like I'm gonna go take them out because I made this movie. I'm like, people don't understand this is a movie. Like I'm like, you got police departments. You have a problem. Like anybody. There's so many people like writing me. People thinking the movie's real and like what was it based on. I'm like, so I love the feedback. I love the attention. It is definitely something that lingered in my own head of like, this is a way to end all this, like because
it's a great premise to develop. Yeah. You just need to put like a disclaimer, like South Park has before the first of them. This is a movie.
Well, when I do like I do it doing it right as of right now, same thing what Nicole just said moments ago. But when I'm doing a real official press, like I tell her, don't let your kids watch this. Just straight up, don't. This is the darkest thing that can happen to a child. Don't be like that. Hey, I let my 8-year-old watch movies. Don't. This is one like I'm telling you as a director, don't let them see this one. Right. Like, it's one of those like I'm going to be as honest as possible with this one. And again, this was from when I did the Dark Military, which was a lot of money, shot on 2 red cams. You got all the lights, you got you got your sky lifts and all that. We're lighting the woods up and all that. Like this, I was attracted to ever since I saw Blair Witch. In the late '90s, I always liked the idea of found footage, reality TV, true crime. This is my shot at it. We all know how expensive a movie could get. There was money sure put into this, but it was the cheapest movie I definitely ever did. And I'm just like, oh, this is great. Like I had all the money up front. So I'm like, there's no hole. It's just like, okay, Movie is done.
Mhm.
Everybody is paid.
Right.
Let's start editing this,
Mm-hmm.
I did come up to my attention, somebody called my husband and they're like, oh, I added all of Sean's friends, all of Michael Hall's. Do you ever have people trying to add all your friends to your Facebook friend list or any of that stuff? Because just because you add the people, it doesn't mean you're going to get any more extra support if you can't show you could do the work. And
Nicole, I'm in Philly, right outside Philadelphia. This is like, we're going back like 8 years ago. Like I have a lot of these, 80% of these people aren't even in the business anymore because of doing stuff like this. But it was amazing when I was going to all the horror conventions and meeting everybody and adding them. Like, it was amazing how many people I knew from my area don't go to conventions. All of a sudden they were in their friends list too. And I'm like, what is this? And what the people were doing was trolling my wall, looking for roles. So it's almost like I'm the spy. I'm going out doing the hard work. I'm traveling. I'm putting myself up in the hotels, doing all, and you're just going to go add and then just kiss butt and try. I was like, no, block. Like, go do your own groundwork, man. Like seriously, go. Or I could do another one where I'm kind of back in this window now because the Dark Military was released in 2019. The business has changed. A lot of my ties, either like reviewers and stuff, either they don't do it no more or this turned into this and all that. But I didn't know what to do. I didn't have a lot of connection. So like, I'm just doing a copy and paste, writing to Fangoria, writing to Dave. Hey, would you review this film? So I had the Dark Military reviewed like 44 times. I had my friend saying like, yo, dude, I need to get some reviews. Could I have your contacts? And there's a part like you want to help someone, but I was a little more like, you have any idea like the hours that I had to go to research for all this, and I've made, and you just want a quick email sent, like sorry, but like I'll send you a couple, but you're not getting my whole freaking list. You got to put the work in. Like, it was like really like Jurassic Park with like the shaving cream canister. Like you're gonna catch up with technology for 10 years of me, getting stuff thrown back in your face. Like you got to put your time in, man. And the only other way to get around that is to have the money for a publicist.
That's true, or a PR marketer, or they don't understand. There's a lot of people are like, well, can you just help me because you've done it, and you can't just help everybody. And they really do need like hands-on, and it does, like with marketing, it takes hours putting things up, and it's hours and hours. And for some reason, I've had tons of people like, can you market this? Can you do this? I said, you can reach out to a publicist or PR. I am not that. There's no way. I don't even know who some of the people are, or I don't know them that closely. I was like, let me see. Have you shared even one on your storyline of my? Not. Good luck. It's not happening. We got to pay our dues. We're always paying our dues in this. And it's a lot of hard work until you finally can get some little slither of like credibility. It's very hard, I feel, to build a good platform. My dog's walking all around here. Like,
I was wondering. I was like, it sounds like a dog.
Yeah, it's a dog. I got to keep my dogs separate because they're the worst dogs ever. And he's just not laying there anymore. He's a big dog. I can't just pick him up. He's not a lap dog. He's like, yeah. Sorry. I used to love animals, but these animals are not good. They're vicious. But anyways, besides that point, advice I can give people that want to get seen, heard more, they got to market themselves. They got to connect their IMDb. They should volunteer. They should help out. Because everybody's like, I want to get paid. I said, in your beginning, you should be volunteering and helping out. You should be learning. I know you got the finger.
No, I was about to say I did exactly what you said because I don't think that you could. What the advice you just gave, I'm just going to double down on. Right when I first got in this business, I worked for a movie that really never came out called Crossbearer. But I was 30 days. I would go work my real world job, run home, shower, and rush to the set. And I volunteered to be a PA. And like, I remember I'm helping the gaffer. And I'm staring, and I'm like, I have no idea what he's doing and stuff. But what you got is you're doing is you are helping, and then movie sets things get slow, and then the conversations start running out, and then you kind of ask the gaffer like, "Is it all right if I ask you exactly what's the difference? What you did with that? Like you got to ask. That's a way to learn. I'm just telling you, there's so much downtime on a movie set, and literally just be honest. Walk in and be like, I don't know anything, but I would love to help, so that way no one's yelling, go get this and that, and you don't know what to go get. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you learn, because I was oblivious, thinking like when you saw a movie, everybody was in a comfortable environment. And then when I said that movie I was in, Crossbear, was in a factory, a gigantic abandoned factory that looked like, something homeless people will live in. And it's January. Other than the holding room, there's no heat. None. And I was just trying. There was a lot of nudity in this, where girls are running around topless through there, and I'm like, good God, it's like 30 degrees. Like in between, I'm running up with a blanket, like, get this on you fast. Like you start to like care, and you start realizing like you learn the set. And I couldn't tell you, like the next couple sets I went to, it was like someone with a camera, and I was like, where's the audio guy? Where's the lighting? Like, but I'm new. Just shut up and watch it. Like, we just shot a movie in one day, and they're kind of like, well, he was doing dialogue 30 feet away. How is that possible? Then you see the cut, and the guy really thought he did a great movie, and I'm like, I can't hear half. Like, but it's again, you're new, so you're kind of just shut up and learn. But like, you're also kind of like, how you can't? Can you? He says this camera's amazing. I'll just take a shot, but it's out there. It's a process, and I'd say the worst thing for me is if you look me up on IMDb, I think I have about 70 acting credits. I literally have 100, but I can tell you right now, 30 of those things are never.
Yeah, I got the same.
30 are never going to come out.
Yeah.
It just they either started filming or stopped, jumped to another project, or just lost interest. But like some of those things, I drove 2 hours. And I paid to be in the movie, meaning I besides the water and the pizza, I put gas in my tank. I studied my butt off, waiting for this. I think I could shine in this. Never came out. That's it's. Go ahead, Nicole.
They do it on big SAG sets too. It's not like they filmed. I've been on these bigger SAG sets, and they put all this money in it. It never came out. Nothing. Or maybe you were non-union at one time and you got a line, and you're like, yeah, this is it. And then you come out and find out they took the line out, no line at all, and they uncredit you. So that happens too. Or you think you're on another set and you have all this, and I was new, so I'm bragging like, oh my, I got this, nothing, and not even a second on the set, nothing on TV. So it happens, and you just got to roll with it. So hopefully they're paying on those SAG sets good enough. The non-unions, I mean, they hardly have any money. That's how it is. These are good practice, and maybe they could pick up something. They could be a following for certain talent that are on there, like the mutants. I think will be amazing. People love those mutants. I think they will have a huge following, and I think people like to interact with them, like at conventions. I would anyway. I would be all with the gruesomeness of these mutants. But it's where do you want to learn? Where do you want to put your time, money, energy, and make sure it's something credible? Because there's a lot of people, like I was looking up these newer people, and they want to put all these films together. They've done nothing. They even do a short film. They've done nothing. So how are they going to all of a sudden pull something out of their butt with no financing, no credit of anything? But I'm not going to stop everybody. People have to find out the hard way. I'm not correcting nothing. I'm just going to sit back and sip my tea and be like, oh, you wanted that. I hope you enjoy it.
You do that. And the only thing I could say that I got out of those 30 films that are never going to come out, you can't take away the acting experience or the experience of being on the set. And when you're new, so I always tell people about what I'm saying here is there's short films you could get in that ain't far from where you got to go. It's not going to take up a lot of your time. You're brand new. You have nothing to lose. Look at them as practice. Like I'm not going to tell you to drive 2-3 hours. Don't do that. But like if it comes out, it comes out. But no one can take away the acting experience that you got, no matter how good or bad who you were paired up with or whatever. It's still practice.
Mm-hmm. I was going to just mention one thing about the conventions. We keep bringing that up. I think Nicole and I talked about this when we went to Burbank Monday. I think one of the other things that helped us at the Days of the Dead in Vegas was that when people came up and one of their first questions, well, where are you filming? And we're like an hour south of town. And that got people excited because then it's like, oh, well, I can do this because I don't have to drive 4 hours to LA or anything like that. So when we were talking about it, it's like, so if you've got another film coming out and you're going to do an Indiegogo or do a campaign, do a convention where you live or where you're going to film it. Because if you're local and the locals see it and they realize they can be in it and it doesn't have to like disrupt their whole lives or they have to take vacation necessarily, we got a lot of people buying perks from the Days of the Dead. And I think a lot of it was because we're keeping it close to Vegas.
And that's good for all your projects going forward, because if they're following you, it might just spill into the next one and the next one to the next one.
I don't want to do more Indiegogo. Hopefully this is my last one. I talked to other people that are bigger investors. You just have to show that you can get your film distribution. You have to show you can get it out there. Why would people put money into something if you can't show you can get anything from it? So like I said, this first one I will find out through Gravitas. 6 months down the road, we won't know sooner of what revenues are or not, because I'm very new to that area. So I can't wait to probably be disappointed, but I can't wait to find out either way. But there is a process to the showbiz. I think it's just easier to be talent. I'm just saying, I was like, I started as talent. I can go. I have no problem getting cast places, but this is taking up my whole life right now, and I feel very tired. So, yeah.
Well, Nicole, I think you're doing a fantastic job. And like I said, I can't compliment you enough. Just don't stop. You're going to get exactly where you need to go. John, I think you're off to a great start here, especially you got a good mentor here. So, just
very, very good. Very good. Thank you.
At this time, before I end the show, here's the part where I give you guys the floor to plug away your social media or anything you got going on. John, go for it.
Just my Facebook, Jon Swango. Trash Man's Productions just kind of got going, so I'm just kind of getting it started with emails and stuff like that. So you can just find me on Facebook, instant message me, email me, and that's really about it. Anytime somebody wants me on something like this, now that I'm set up in here, I can anytime, and I'll share my experiences and what I think about things. So sky's the limit.
I want to say thank you for having us on your show. Thank you for having us on your show and taking the time to discuss the behind the scenes of production and what non-union films and what to look out for. Nicole Butler, Vegas. I'm out here in Las Vegas, obviously. I usually connect people to like Julie Goldman and David Anthony Prada that do casting out here. Sean C. Phillips has his Indiegogo still up. It's still running. We're about a month away till we start Desert Fiends 2. And also BOLO, which means be on the lookout for Desert Fiends through Gravitas Ventures, releasing April 8th through many platforms. I'll say thank you.
Sweet. Well, this is the part where I thank you both for taking the time to be on my show. This is also the part where I thank this beautiful audience for taking the time to check out this podcast. Please hit that subscribe button. And as always, I always tell everybody, please stand by for ending credits here, which is my film directory, where to find everything that I have done. And with that, I will tell everybody that the party is over and get off the internet.